Okay, I will try to get this quick because this room warms up very, very quickly. I am Renderman, for the 4 people who don't know me, and I tend to rant at DEFCON a lot to pretty much anybody who will listen. Sometimes those people who don't want to listen.
I'll call you in half an hour, sorry.
You will? There's a lot of things that piss me off, and so I figured I might as well start doing something about it. And I can't do everything, so need your help on some of these. Hopefully I can, inspire you or get some assistance and things. Just things I'm seeing and stuff that are just, as I say, pissing me off. I'm trying to stick to hacker-related ones because there's a lot of things just generally in life that piss me off. So I figured it'd be relevant. It's cheaper than therapy, and I'm going to try to ask you to save questions and discussion until later because I've only got 20 minutes and I'm trying to get through this as quickly as possible. So, first off, WPA radius documentation. Who has ever tried to set up free radius with like completely open source WPA radius? How many of you have succeeded? Nobody. I wanted to set this up in my house just for the sake of doing it. For the life of me, even using the default scripts that come with free radius to generate the client certs, they don't verify. I don't know why. For years we've been, in the wireless community, we've been telling people, if you want the most secure system, use WPA radius, certificates to authenticate the access point and everything. But, I always wondered, why am I not seeing more of this? Well, I know now, because you have to buy a commercial product in order to do it, and most small shops can't afford that. So, it took me weeks, absolutely just painful, to scroll back through the DEFCON forums channel. You hear me coming in every once in a while, and, big line of expletives as I've failed on something else. My desire is to write a set of generic documents on, just using OpenSSL, free radius, the different EAP types, saying, okay, if you just want to use certificates on the clients and you can deal with running around and editing things, cool, do this. If you want PEEP, you can do this, but have it so that everybody, regardless of OS, versions, distributions, that it just works. Something you can hand somebody in an afternoon, they can take a spare box out of the back, set this up, and it's working. So if you have any time, inkling, or talent in this sort of thing, I would really like to hear from you and to try to get this written just so that we can get these really useful security protocols in use. Because every AP supports it. Why the hell aren't we using it more? And that's because the documentation sucks. Other things that piss me off. Ideas dying a horrible death. I have a lot of ideas over time. Some are better than others. Running out into the pool right now would probably be a bad one, but still sounds kind of tempting. There are some ideas that I have absolutely no capability of generating or accomplishing, but some of you might. So I'm going to kind of toss one out here just as an example. A wedding photo download station. Got married in the spring, Pi Day. I will never forget that anniversary. Wanted as many photos as I possibly could of the wedding. Most guests nowadays have digital cameras, they're snapping pictures of everybody. But you're paying the official photographer an arm and a leg for the photos, and it's like, but there's all these other ones around that, the candid shots you want. What I did was I set up this laptop with one of those 25-in-1 card readers from Best Buy right by the exit, and basically during the announcement said, before you leave, take your memory card out, plug it in here, it'll auto mount, pop up, just drag it into this directory. That's, if you're going to give us a gift, do that. We want your photos, all of them. Got over an extra 1,000 photos that way. And just everybody who possibly could want to get married or have any sort of event like that, this would be a brilliant product for them to have. Some simple refinements, you could probably make this into a kiosk. Insert card, automatically copies everything over, end of the night, spits out a couple of DVDs of contents. Give that to the happy couple, and whatever. If you're a wedding photographer, you could just have this as like, oh, for an extra $100, I'll bring this box with me, and your guests can do this. So if anybody feels the inclination, you can. There's that idea for free. Go with it. Cut me in a small percentage if you could. But share your ideas. Like, talk amongst yourselves. If you've got an idea you can't use or can't implement, don't hoard it. Share it. Lack of tool evolution is number 3. There's a lot of useful tools out there that just get to the proof of concept stage. Yeah, okay, it works, you've made your point, but there's no evolution after that. There's so much more that can be done with these things. Airpone, Karma, Void 11, these have some real potential but have their own issues. I can't code worth crap, but I can bribe you. So an off-season project for the Wireless Village that I'm proposing is basically posting milestones of ideas I have for developments and evolutions and patches that I feel are needed, and reward you guys somehow for submitting these. Because yeah, great, it's open source, anybody can make these things, but sometimes you need to just give it a little shot, to some incentive to do these things. And plus, you might not have the same ideas that I do. So I got beer. I got 10 years worth of DEFCON stickers and other cons that I got like 5 pounds of stickers that I'm not doing anything with, so I might as well send them to you. You send me a patch, fine, I'll drop a couple of stickers in the mail for you from ShmooCon 4 years ago or whatever. Want to keep them all open source, freely available, but just sort of prompt the evolution of things. I'll be posting milestones on renderlab.net and churchofwifi.org. But you could just email me directly and just ask, hey, I'm interested in doing some development for this tool. Got any ideas? I'd love to share. I want to get more going and not hoard this sort of information. 802.11n. This both elates me and scares me. 40 megahertz channels are going to be both a boost and a boom and a bust for us. As you probably are all very aware, channels 1, 6, and 11 are the only non-overlapping channels on BG, and they're already really, really busy. Like driving around my neighborhood, there's 25 networks, and there's no way you can actually get all these organized sanely to have nobody overlapping. An 802.11n station with a 40 megahertz channel will stomp over 2 of those channels. So you get 2 802.11n routers, you've effectively jammed the entire neighborhood. So how do we figure out how to convince people that maybe you need to do site surveys first? You need to find out what your neighbors are running so you don't piss them off. And how do we do this to actually solve the problem rather than finding just interesting ways of making money prolonging the problem? Discuss this in the Wireless Village. I'd love to hear from more people as to their suggestions, because I'm a company or a corporate environment, that's one thing, you can deal with such things, but in a neighborhood where neighbors don't talk to each other anymore, this is a situation that, why is my network not running? Well, because Joe just bought a new 802.11n router and he's stomping all over you. This is output from Spectrum Analyzer. You can see the 40 megahertz channel for 802.11n, covers channels 1 through 6. You get another one on 7 through 12. Or 7 through 14, you've screwed everybody. Yeah, well, it depends on what regulatory domain you're in. Protocol discrimination. It's a group in Santa Fe, New Mexico that claims to be allergic to Wi-Fi. They claim that the city's desire to institute Wi-Fi in the public libraries is a violation of the rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act. Your stupidity is what I'm allergic to. Your existence is a violation of my rights. That makes just as much sense to me. I am willing to admit that there is a possibility some people can be sensitive to certain parts of the electromagnetic spectrum. However, they seem to be focused so much on Wi-Fi, and just looking at this situation in their own logic, they should be dead. What happens if somebody, if they're in this Wi-Fi free library and somebody sits next to them with a Bluetooth phone that's the same frequency? Does their head catch on fire? Like, why are you picking on just Wi-Fi here? There's more to it. Cordless phones. The main guy for this whole thing, I would really love to just stick him in a Faraday cage and see if you can tell when a transmitter's on. That's the simple test. If you get your headache or your chest pain or whatever when it's on, and you can tell me exactly when I turned it on, cool, okay, I'll believe you, but nobody's done this, and this guy's been going on about this for over 20 years. This is the ward area map of Santa Fe I pulled off of Wiggle. The yellow push pins, if you can see them, are the libraries. By their own logic, they should be dead on the way there. Am I wrong in thinking that? there's too many sources to regulate, and you set a dangerous precedent with something like this, because they could say, oh, police band radios, or I'm allergic to those, so please don't use your radio when you're near my house, or anywhere in the city, because I'm allergic to it at a range. I do have a solution for this, though, that I'm willing to pay out of my own pocket if they choose to implement it, and I really hope they do. There we go. A roll of tinfoil is really cheap.